Good morning, this is John Cannings here, the workshop facilitator. Just a few reflections about the first week. The first week has really been an introduction to how CAS fits into the IB and the IB mission statement. Many of you reflected very well on the relationship between the IB mission statement, your own philosophy of education, and your own schools. And all of these posts seem to indicate alignment between the three things, which is great. You were also asked to look at some experiences that you've learned from, and there were some interesting experiences there that you put in about different things. And that was also really good of you to be so open about that. The last part of the last post of the week, I think, was something which is very important, is to have an overview of CAS and also where it fitted into the standards and practices of the IB. And looking at the standards and practices, one of the key elements is how well does the school reflect the IB mission statement, not just in terms of words, but in terms of what it actually does. And if we're looking at CAS particularly, there are some key things which are essential for a good CAS program. The first one is this, that the school community must actually accept that CAS is part of the core and value it. And I don't mean just the staff and students, but I also mean the parents. So they must be aware of what it is and support the kids in actually doing that. Sometimes that's an issue for some students, that their parents don't see the point of CAS. So it's very important that is something which is made very clear to parents, that it is an invaluable part of the IB diploma. And then in terms of valuing CAS as a program, clearly it's important that you have, if possible, a separate CAS coordinator. I think when you have people trying to do both roles, and particularly both the role of diploma coordinator and CAS coordinator, it becomes very stressful for the kids and for the person concerned, and often CAS is the thing which suffers a little bit from it. So it's important that the CAS coordinator has time to carry out the administrative tasks, has resources to carry them out, that also that the CAS coordinator has time to be with the students and help them to understand the learning outcomes of CAS and also to facilitate their reflection. So those are some things that are very important. If there's a very large group of students, then clearly the CAS coordinator is going to need some support, because one of the things which is really vital is connection between the coordinator and the students, and he or she must get to know the students themselves. Enough of the first week. Thanks very much for your contributions and comments. Now let's look at the second week of the workshop, which starts tomorrow. And this deals with the outcomes of CAS. It asks you to look at evidence of what is CAS. And one of the things that it does in this workshop is to actually ask you a quiz about what is CAS and what is not. Now, please don't get hung up if you don't get answers that agree with the answers provided in the workshop. It's not a pass or fail situation. The quiz is really meant to make you think about what is CAS, because when this workshop finishes and you take over the role of CAS coordinator, one of the things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make decisions based on your own understanding of CAS about what is CAS and what is not CAS. And it's really important that you think through this, and you also look at the interpretations here of what has been considered to be CAS and what has not been CAS. Now, you're also being expected to come up with an example of a CAS experience yourself. And I think that's a good exercise because it really makes you think about what will be challenging and how you would plan and prepare for a CAS experience. So those are a few thoughts I have about both week 1 and week 2. And I'm looking forward to you posting regularly and particularly interacting with each other's posts. I think that's a very important part of this. It was really good when I looked at the group work on the standards and practices that there had been clearly quite a bit of interaction between you. And if you look particularly at the thread on collaborative planning, a lot of people shared their school's experiences of that. So all the best for the second week, and it's been great talking to you. And I look forward to reading your posts.